The spit hit with a snap, sharp, deliberate, and unforgettable. It caught the old woman square on her cheek. The midday sun in Abuja shimmered on the pavement like hot glass. The supermarket doors hissed open and shut. Cars slid past the curb, and for a moment, time itself held its breath. Out of the Bentley stepped Olivia Okechukwu. Her heels struck the ground with staccato precision. Ankara fabric hugged her frame like ambition in silk. Her eyes, lined in gold, scanned the scene with practiced indifference. Behind her came Sam, young billionaire, face on every business magazine, the sort of man who turned market crashes into IPOs. Today, he wore a white cap-and-like armor, his expression unreadable. And in front of them, in a battered wheelchair, sat a woman wrapped in faded blue lace. Her fingers trembled under a blanket. Her hair, gray and dry, crowned a face shaped by hardship. Her voice barely rose above the street noise, yet it sliced clean through the air. "Be careful with this woman," she said, lifting a fragile hand toward Olivia. "Her greed may destroy you." Olivia didn't blink. She didn't argue. She stepped forward, bent at the waist, and spat. It landed with a wet sound that made the supermarket guard shift his weight. A child clutched his mother's wrapper. Even the wind paused, as if it didn't want to be involved. "Which," Olivia hissed, "keep your curse away from my home." Sam's eyes moved from the old woman's cheek to his wife's clenched jaw. His face, until then relaxed, cracked. Confusion slipped into something colder, disappointment, maybe pain. The crowd didn't murmur. It didn't need to. The silence said enough. The woman, her tin cup sticker read "Mama Adana," did not flinch. She dabbed her cheek slowly. There was no begging, no reply. Only her gaze, now shifting to Sam. "This will be hard to hear," she said, voice steady, brittle with age but unafraid. "But better truth than silence. Your wife plans to kill you. The documents you're searching for, company files, they're in her bag. She made a call this morning. A man named Django. He finishes things." Something cracked. Not out loud. Inside Sam. He reached for Olivia's handbag. She resisted, but he was faster. Files spilled onto the pavement like a confession. Red stamps, company seals, words like confidential bold and damning. "Olivia," he said, voice flat. "What is this?" I can explain," she whispered. Her voice wobbled. Her knees nearly buckled. And then the phone in her hand buzzed. The screen lit up. "Django." First ring. Second. Third. The guard shifted. The child stared. The crowd leaned in. "Answer it," Sam said quietly. "Speaker." Her hand trembled. The phone stopped ringing. A new message arrived. "We are close. Say the word." A breath escaped Sam, sharp and metallic. Something inside him began to steal over. A man in the crowd took a step back. Even the supermarket guard was watching from behind his post, wide-eyed. "Call him," Sam said. "Now. Cancel it." Her fingers moved like they no longer belonged to her. She dialed. The line clicked. "Madam," a voice rasped. "Is it time?" "No," Olivia said, her voice shaking. "It's canceled. Do not touch him. Delete everything. It's over." Silence. Then, a cold laugh. "You already paid. There is no over. We see you." The call ended. Somewhere in the distance, a siren cried out. "Driver," Sam said, eyes locked on his wife. "Call the police." Olivia fell to her knees. "Please, Sam. I didn't mean, it was Juliana. She said you'd never take me seriously." She said. He didn't answer. He turned instead to the old woman. "How did you know?" he asked. Mama Adana blinked slowly, her voice still calm. "When I was a girl, God gave me a gift. I can hear the thoughts people hide when they mean harm. It never left me, even when time took my beauty and broke my bones. I don't use it often, but when evil sits this close, I must speak." The police arrived minutes later. Olivia was arrested, conspiracy, fraud, attempted murder. Her gold bracelet jingled as the cuffs locked. Sam stood still, watching the woman he once called his wife vanish behind a van door. He did not flinch, but when the dust settled, he turned back to Mama Adana and did something he never expected. He bent down and wiped the spit from her cheek. "Mama," he said, voice catching, "you saved my life." She didn't smile, just nodded. David, the driver, helped her into the Bentley. And as the car pulled away, a man in a black cap stood near a parked Toyota, raising his phone to photograph the license plate. His grin was slow, deliberate, Sam's phone buzzed again. Unknown number. You think police can protect you? Watch your back. The storm, it turned out, had only just begun. Back at the mansion, Sam sat in the back of the SUV beside Mama Adana, her blanket draped across her knees. The gates closed behind them with a weighty metallic clang. David, Sam said, eyes still forward. No one enters this house without my say-so. Double-check the cameras. Tonight. The mansion shimmered in the early evening light. But to Sam, it no longer felt secure. He glanced at the woman beside him. Mama Adana's eyes were half closed, but alert. Mama, he said gently. From today, this is your home. She looked at him, expression unreadable. You are kind, she said. But kindness often draws enemies. Don't think it's over. Evil doesn't sleep because one door closed. He turned to her. You mean Django? I don't know his name, she said, eyes distant. But I feel his hunger. He's not finished. And your wife, her shadow still lingers. Some hearts are too hard for prison to break. Sam swallowed. Olivia's final plea echoed in his mind. I trusted her. Mama Adana rested a thin hand on his. Trust is a good thing. But blind trust kills kings. That night, long after she was settled in a warm guest room, Sam sat alone in his father's study. Old portraits stared down from walnut panels. The room smelled of ink, wood polish, and memory. His phone buzzed. Another message from the same anonymous number. You stop today? Tomorrow, we won't. He forwarded it to his lawyer and Inspector Musa. Moments later, Musa called. Mr. Okachukwu, Django isn't small time. He runs gangs in Lagos, Abuja, even Port Harcourt. If your wife contacted him, she may owe him more than we can trace. What do I do? Prepare for war. The call ended, and the silence that followed was louder than any noise. The Okachukwu mansion no longer felt safe. At dusk, the compound bathed in gold and shadow, but the glow couldn't reach Sam's heart. He stood alone in his study, the files from Olivia's bag spread across his desk like the aftermath of a car crash. Every word confirmed betrayal. Every document was a wound. His phone buzzed again. Unknown number. You think police can protect you? Watch your back. He forwarded it instantly to Inspector Musa. The reply came almost immediately. Musa, he's not bluffing. Django is on several watch lists. Dangerous. Unpredictable. If Olivia made a deal with him, we don't know what he expects in return. Sam rubbed his temples. What do I do? Prepare for war, came the message. That night, he moved Mama Adana into the guest suite and ordered security doubled. Cameras checked. Staff vetted. No entry without his approval. Still, the house felt like it had grown hollow walls. Beautiful, cold, and echoing with uncertainty. David, his driver, found him near midnight. Pale, sweating, phone shaking in his hand. Sir, he whispered. Another message. This time, they named me. Sam took the phone. Unknown. We know your house. We know your staff. David knows what to do if he wants to live. Sam looked up slowly. Do you? David's eyes welled. No, sir. I swear on my life. I'd never. Sam held the gaze, then nodded once. Then help me find who would. By morning, Sam had called an emergency session with Barrister Jude and security heads. The tension in the mansion was visible, guards scanning every corner, radios whispering. Even the birds seemed to sing quieter. Then came Mama Adana's soft voice from across the room. One of your men will betray you. Everyone froze. Sam turned. Which one? He asked, dread rising in his throat like smoke. She shook her head. That, I do not yet know. But the traitor is near. Django doesn't only send guns. He sends whispers, fear, false loyalty, and always familiar faces. They set up internal traps, decoy safes, planted information, timed lockouts. Sam watched security feeds like a man hunting ghosts. Every blink of static made his heart skip. Every hallway seemed to breathe. At midnight, it came. The breach. A back gate, half open. Cameras looped. Footsteps. Sam followed the sound, barefoot in silence. His house no longer felt like his. He passed his father's portrait and felt shame claw at his chest. He had vowed to protect this legacy. Then he saw it. A silhouette slipping through shadows, whispering into a phone. CH. The same guard Sam had promoted last month. He's asleep. It's clear. Move at dawn. Sam froze. His blood turned to glass. His instincts screamed, but his heart sank deeper. A floorboard creaked. CH turned. Who's there? Sam stepped out from the dark. It's over. CH reached for his sidearm, but a sharp voice rang out. Drop it, Mama Adana. In the hallway, eyes blazing. CH hesitated. His mouth twitched. Sam lunged. They struggled. A gun clattered to the floor. David and 2 guards arrived. CH was pinned against the tiles. His breath hissed like a snake's. You think you've won? He spat. Django's already inside. You're just living on borrowed time. This house will burn before sunrise. They dragged him away. The walls seemed to tighten around Sam. He looked at Mama Adana. She looked older now, but her eyes stayed sharp. Rotten wood, she said. You cut one branch, but the sickness may already be everywhere. They checked every room, every system. Guards doubled again. David personally reviewed camera footage for the past 48 hours. Jude called Musa again, his voice sharp, urgent. Still, unease lingered like wet smoke. At dawn, David ran in again, phone raised, pale. Sir, it's everywhere. A video, already viral. Billionaire's wife arrested for attempted murder. There she was, Olivia in handcuffs, screaming as she was dragged to the van. Her bracelet jingled like irony. Below the video, a comment pinned from an anonymous account. You exposed her. Now we expose you. Tonight, the mansion falls. Sam's fingers tightened. His eyes didn't blink. Mama, he said softly. They're coming. Mama Adana nodded, as if she'd been expecting the words. Then, my son, she said. You must choose. Will you keep running, or will you fight? He didn't speak. He just turned and walked toward the armory. That evening, the house prepared, like a lion bracing for the hunt. The air inside was thick. Guards rotated, weapons cleaned, radios checked, dogs leashed, electric fences pulsed. Yet nothing settled the tremble in Sam's gut. At exactly 10:43 p.m., a shockwave shattered the silence. An explosion, east wall. Flash, fire, screams. Sirens wailed. Sam bolted to the balcony. Smoke rose. Guards scrambled. He yelled, hold the line. David raced up the stairs, rifle in hand. That was a warning shot. They're testing our walls. Sam's phone buzzed again. Unknown number. This is only the beginning. Surrender, or everyone inside dies tonight. He looked at David. Call Musa. Now. What if they don't come? David asked. Then we hold this ground with our own blood. Downstairs, Mama Adana prayed. Her voice floated through the mansion like smoke. Steady, protective. And then, the motorcycles came. Dozens. Headlights flashing like war drums. They circled the compound. Guards aimed rifles from balconies. But none fired. They waited. Inside the safe room, Sam checked his gun. Mama Adana sat beside him, her hands folded. Don't go out there, she said suddenly. I have to. You go out in anger, you fall. You must listen. He froze. You carry your father's blood. He didn't fight recklessly. He watched. He listened. Sam exhaled. Then tell me what you see. She closed her eyes. I see darkness. But not for money. Django wants revenge. He wants your name burned. Not your wealth. A voice boomed through a speaker outside the gate. Okechukwu, come out and face me like a man. It was Django. The sound of his voice cut through walls. The guard stiffened. Sam stood. His mind raced. Mama, he asked, what does my father have to do with this? Her eyes flickered. Because, Sam, Django is not just your enemy. She paused. He's your blood. The revelation dropped like a hammer. Django, blood? Sam stumbled back as if the words themselves had weight. He looked at Mama Adana, her expression unreadable beneath the folds of age and pain. My brother? Mama Adana's voice was a low wind through stone. Your father had a past, Sam. Not all of it noble. There was a woman before your mother. A child. Forgotten by wealth. Raised by vengeance. Outside, Django's voice thundered again. Bring me Okechukwu or burn with him. Sam's knees locked. His grip tightened on the weapon in his hand. It was no longer just a siege. It was a reckoning. Django stood tall beyond the mansion gates. His eyes scanned the marble sprawl, the security lights, the flinch in every shadow. None of it mattered. He had grown in alleys where men like Sam were myths and money had fangs. He cracked his knuckles like a habit. The past doesn't knock, it breaks the door. Inside, Sam turned slowly to Mama Adana. Why didn't anyone tell me? Because some truths aren't whispered in mansions, she said. Your father paid a price to erase his mistake. But mistakes don't forget. They grow teeth. His phone buzzed. Unknown. You think police can protect you? Watch your back. He forwarded it to Inspector Musa. Reply. Musa. He's not bluffing. Django's been on Interpol's radar for years. If your wife made a deal with him, we don't know what else she set in motion. Sam exhaled, slow and cold. If he's my brother, why does he want me dead? Because he thinks you stole the life meant for him. David entered the study, face pale, eyes wide. Sir, they're in position. East, south, and the back service road. Heavy motorcycles. Trucks. I saw RPGs. Police. Delayed. Roadblocks near Oppo. At best, 20 minutes. Sam stepped to the center of the hallway. The air inside felt thin, like something was already lost. No one dies tonight. Not for my father's sins. Not for Olivia's betrayal. This ends here. He moved quickly, ordered all staff into the safe room. Mama Adana refused. I'm not hiding from my past, she said, voice steady. And neither should you. Outside, Django stepped forward, holding a megaphone like a microphone at a funeral. Samuel Okechukwu, he called. The name tastes like empire. But to me, it tastes like ash. He paced, slow and deliberate. Your father left my mother with nothing but a name. You sat in crystal dining rooms while I starved beside firewood. I wore bruises like jewelry. You wore cufflinks. He pulled something from his coat. A photograph, torn and creased. Christmas, 1996, he said. I remember the smell of her perfume when she saw your mother. She wept. That's when I knew you were the boy in the frame. He held the photo up. 2 boys. One in velvet, smiling. One in rags, watching from the edge. Sam stared. Something flickered in his brain. Not memory, but guilt's ghost. Mama Adana whispered. That's your father's old suit. I remember that photo. Django stepped closer. Guards lifted rifles. He didn't flinch. You took everything, Sam. And I built myself in fire. Tonight, I take your legacy. Or your corpse. He dropped the photo to the ground. Sam didn't blink. You want me? He said, voice even. Then come for me. Django's smile thinned. Let the games begin. The first explosion came not from the gate, but from the north fence. A distraction. Guards scrambled. Gunfire cracked like thunder. Smoke poured across the lawn. David barked orders. Sam pulled Mama Adana behind a column. Don't move unless I say. She touched his sleeve. Don't fight from rage. That's his game. Fight from clarity. Another blast. The east gate. Breached. Django's men poured through, faces covered, rifles raised. They moved like soldiers, not thugs. This wasn't chaos. It was strategy. Sam fired once. Missed. Then again, hit one in the shoulder. Barrister Jude, trembling, dragged a wounded guard into cover. Sir, David called through comms. Back entrance clear. Safe room sealed. We can fall back. No. Sam's voice cut through static. We hold the line. More gunfire. A silhouette approached through the smoke. Django himself. Calm. Weapon at his side. He walked into bullets like he'd rehearsed it. Then, sirens. Blue lights. Floodlights. Police vans. Inspector Musa leapt from a car, shouting into a megaphone. His men swept the yard. Arrests. A retreat. Django didn't run. He simply stopped. Raised his hands. Smiled. Sam stepped forward. Face to face now. What do you want? Django's voice dropped low, meant only for him. Not your life. Your throne. He was cuffed. As they dragged him away, he looked over his shoulder. You wear your father's crown, Samuel, but you will carry his curse. By morning, calm returned, but it didn't bring peace. The mansion walls were intact, but the soul of the house had shifted. Sam sat in the study alone, gun on the table. Mama Adana wheeled in silently. You survived, she said. Did I? He asked. She looked out the window. You met your brother and chose mercy. That's survival in its purest form. He was quiet. And Olivia? Mama Adana's voice was low. Some betrayals echo longer than bullets. Sam said nothing. Then, for the first time in months, he slept. The days after the siege passed in strange quiet. Walls were patched. Blood scrubbed from tiles. Security tripled. But inside Sam, something deeper remained cracked. He walked the halls of his mansion not like a king, but like a man listening for ghosts. Django was gone, arrested, denied bail. But his words lingered. You wear your father's crown, but you will carry his curse. Sam couldn't forget. In the central prison of Abuja, Django sat behind bulletproof glass, hands cuffed, eyes bright. Across from him, Inspector Musa laid a thick file on the table. "Your silence won't save you," Musa said. "We have your men. The drone footage. Fingerprints. We traced the gun runners from Port Harcourt to the supermarket gate." Django smiled. "And yet here I sit, alive, unbroken, which is more than I can say for your police trucks." He leaned forward. "I was born in silence, Inspector. Raised in shadows. If you think a concrete cell scares me, you've never met hunger in the dark." Musa closed the file. "Your trial starts next month. The judge already requested maximum security. Any last words?" Django's smile vanished. "Tell Sam this isn't over. You can chain a body, not a name." Meanwhile, Sam stood in his study, reading headlines. Billionaire survives family siege. Half-brother rivalry ends in firefight. Sam Okechukwu rebuilds from ruin. They made it sound cinematic. But the truth was quieter and crueler. He stared out the window where the eastern wall had been breached. It was rebuilt now, but he still saw the flames. Still heard the shouts. Mama Adana entered without knocking. As always. "You haven't eaten." He didn't answer. She wheeled closer. "You think survival is the end of the story. It's not. It's just the start of the work." Sam finally turned. "He said our father left him with nothing." "He said many things," she replied. Pain twists memory. He rubbed his temples. "But what if it's true? What if my success was built on someone else's ruin?" Mama Adana placed a wrinkled hand over his. "Guilt is only useful if it builds something better." Later that week, a quiet knock came to his office. Juliana stood in the doorway. Neat suit. No jewelry. A different woman from the one who once whispered poison into Olivia's ears. "I have something to show you." She placed a folder on the table. Inside, financial irregularities from 3 years ago. Olivia's signature on hidden withdrawals. An off-book account. Patterns of manipulation. Sam scanned it in silence. Juliana spoke softly. "I didn't know how far it had gone. I thought I was helping her find her place. I didn't realize I was fueling something worse." Sam looked up. "And now I fix what I can. I've spoken to the board. They're ready to reinstate you as chairman." He raised an eyebrow. "You did that?" She nodded. "Some bridges are worth rebuilding, even if we were the ones who burned them." The next month was full of quiet victories. Sam returned to his company. Slowly, reluctantly, but with clear eyes. He changed leadership structure, hired younger talent, built a new tech incubator wing, and named it after his late mother. The press loved it. But more than the headlines, what struck people was the change in him. Less shine, more substance, less charm, more purpose. At the end of a board meeting, he pulled Juliana aside. "You've proven yourself. More than once. I want you to oversee our new scholarship fund." Her eyes widened. "Sam, thank you." He nodded. "Don't thank me. Thank the version of you that didn't quit." Mama Adana watched their friendship deepen with the calm of someone who had lived through too much to rush anything. But one night, as the three of them shared dinner in the garden, she finally said, "Sam, do you know what day it is?" He looked confused. "Thursday, your father's birthday." The words landed heavy. "He would have been 70, she said. "And today, you became more like him than you realize." Sam flinched. "I'm not sure that's a good thing." She smiled faintly. "He was flawed, but he built. And so are you." In prison, Olivia sat on a narrow bench, staring at the wall. Her hair had grown out unevenly, her eyes hollowed by time and memory. A new inmate entered the cell. Young, loud, flashy. She eyed Olivia's silence. "What's your story, Auntie?" Olivia didn't respond. The girl chuckled. "You look like somebody who used to be somebody." Olivia whispered, "I was." That night, she pulled a small notebook from under her mattress. She had been writing. Not poems, not revenge, but letters to no one, or maybe to herself. One morning, Sam received an envelope. No stamp, no return name. Inside, a short letter and signed. "I don't ask for your forgiveness, but I pray your daughter never becomes the woman I was. Tell her she saved me, because she gave me someone to envy for the right reasons." Sam folded the paper slowly. Mama Adana read it over his shoulder. "She's learning," she said. "Too late. Not for her. Not for you." That evening, Sam walked through the neighborhood near his old school. A group of kids kicked a torn football. He stopped, watched. One boy recognized him. They all ran over. "Mr. Okechukwu, you built our new lab." He knelt beside them. Use it. Build something better than I did. One boy frowned. Better than a mansion? Sam smiled. A life without enemies. Back at the mansion, Juliana was feeding baby Adana. The toddler laughed, hands messy with pap. Sam entered quietly. Mama Adana looked up from her prayers. You're late. I took the long way home. She studied him. And what did you find? He exhaled. That maybe. The curse doesn't win. If we don't let it. She smiled. Then rest. Tomorrow brings its own storms. She arrived before sunrise. Not with a scream. Not with a gun raised. Just silence and a suitcase. The woman who once shared Olivia's cell, now free and nameless, walked up the mansion's back gate like a ghost slipping between pages of a forgotten story. Her eyes scanned the cameras. Her mouth didn't move, but she was humming. The guard on duty, new, nervous, and barely trained, didn't see her coming. The syringe touched his neck before the alarm could. He slumped without sound. Inside, the Okachuka mansion slept lightly. Juliana, curled beside baby Adana, woke first. A prickling sense. Something off in the air. She rose slowly and walked to the corridor. A shadow moved. She froze. David? She whispered. No reply. She turned. The nursery door creaked. The woman was already inside. A pistol in one hand. A cloth in the other. Juliana lunged without thinking. They crashed against the crib. The baby screamed. The gun hit the floor with a metallic crack. Juliana grabbed the attacker's hair, yanking her back, just as Sam burst through the door. He saw only chaos. Then the face. Recognition struck. Her. From the reports. Olivia's cellmate. The woman hissed like a cornered snake. She paid me in silence. But I never spend quiet. Only blood. She reached for the gun. Mama Adana's voice cut through the air, sharper than any siren. Stop. Everyone froze. The old woman wheeled into the room, her hands steady on the rims, her eyes blazing. You entered this house without fear, but now you will leave it with truth. The woman laughed bitterly. Truth? You think words save lives? No, only pain does. Mama Adana didn't blink. You think you're the storm, but you are only its echo. Juliana reached the gun first. Hands shaking, she pointed it. Leave. Now. The woman stared. Her chest rose and fell. But then, surprisingly, she dropped her bag, backed away, and disappeared into the corridor. By the time security found her, she was gone. The forest behind the compound swallowed her whole. That night, the house stayed awake. Sam sat with Juliana in the study, both holding cups of untouched tea. The air was thick, not with fear, but decision. This has to end, Sam said. Juliana nodded. And how? By stopping the rot. At the root. He picked up his phone. Dialed. Inspector Musa. I want to reopen the investigation. Not just Django. Not just Olivia. I want every name behind this. Every hand that took a coin or made a call. We clean it all. Musa agreed. Slowly. Then firmly. The next weeks were fire and iron. More arrests. A senator. A banker. Even a senior judge. The network Django had built crumbled in public view. News anchors barely kept up. But Sam stayed quiet. He spoke only once, in a short statement. Silence almost killed me. I won't let it kill this country. Months passed. Baby Adana turned 1. The garden filled with music. Laughter returned to the mansion, not as a guest, but a resident. Juliana stood beside Sam as they cut the cake. Her hand lingered on his. Mama Adana watched them, tears quiet in her eyes. This house once carried curses, she said softly. Now it carries songs. Sam kissed the child's forehead. We name our future, and we guard it. Across the city, in a worn-out house, Olivia opened the newspaper. The photo was bright. Juliana, Sam, the baby. She smiled. But it was a sad, small thing. Then she turned the page. A job listing. A rehab program. A scholarship initiative for ex-convicts. Her eyes lingered. She folded the page. Tucked it in her bag. No message. No revenge. Just the slow shape of change. On a quiet evening, Sam stood alone in his father's old study. He looked at the portraits. The ledgers. The chair no one sat in anymore. Juliana entered behind him. You still visit the ghosts. They don't leave, he said. She stepped closer. Then let's build them a better story. He turned. With you? She didn't answer. She kissed him instead. Epilogue. Years later, the tech hub Sam built trained thousands. Adana Okachuku, grown, fierce, brilliant, stood on a TED stage and told her family's story. Not with shame, but with clarity. She ended with one line. Some names are born in gold, others in ash, but only we choose what they become. The crowd rose in applause. Far in the front row, an old woman in a wheelchair smiled. Mama Adana, still alive, still watching, still listening.